The bridge of the Voyager hummed with its usual symphony of soft beeps and whirs, a comforting lullaby in the vast, silent void. Captain Eva Rostova, her gaze fixed on the shimmering expanse beyond the viewport, felt a familiar calm settle over her. This deep space patrol, far beyond charted territories, was supposed to be uneventful, a routine sweep for rogue asteroids and forgotten nebula. Then the alarm blared. "Captain, anomaly detected!" Ensign Kalen's voice, usually steady, cracked with a tremor of disbelief. His fingers danced across the console, eyes wide. "Long-range sensors are picking up. It's impossible." Eva strode to Kalen's station, her heart quickening. "Report, Ensign. What's impossible?" "A signal, Captain. Faint, but undeniably human, from an uncharted planet, G-class, roughly 3 clicks off our port bow. Designates it Viridia 7. Kalen gestured to a rapidly coalescing blip on the main screen, a pale blue marble amidst a swirl of cosmic dust. The bridge fell silent, save for the rhythmic thrum of the warp core. A human signal. Here, at the very edge of the known galaxy? Eva leaned closer to the screen, her brow furrowed in concentration. Amplify the audio. Filter for interference. Static crackled, then slowly gave way to a delicate, almost ethereal melody. It was an ancient tune, a lullaby from old Earth, sung by a clear, youthful voice. The words were faded, barely discernible, but the emotion behind them was palpable, a gentle warmth, a whisper of hope carried across unimaginable distances. Eva felt a shiver trace down her spine. It was a melody her own grandmother used to hum. "Impossible," Chief Engineer Jax mumbled, his usually cynical expression replaced by unadulterated awe. "The colonization records are precise. No human settlements beyond the Perseus Arm." Eva's mind raced, piecing together the implications. A lost colony, a forgotten outpost. The sheer wonder of it was intoxicating, a spark igniting in the long dark of space. "Run a full spectral analysis, Ensign. Cross-reference with known human vocal patterns, and prepare the away team." Aris Thorne, the Voyager's xenobotanist, stepped forward, his eyes gleaming with intellectual hunger. "Captain, this could be the discovery of a millennium. Genetic drift, cultural evolution, the possibilities are staggering." Eva nodded, a determined glint in her eyes. "And potentially dangerous. We don't know who or what is on that planet, but we will find out. Helm, plot a course for Viridia 7, minimum safe orbit. Communications, try to hail them, but do not transmit until I give the order. We proceed with caution, but we do proceed." She looked at her crew, seeing a reflection of her own excitement and trepidation. "Prepare for descent. This is not just a mission, it's a journey into the unknown, and we, the crew of the Voyager, are going to write the next chapter." A gentle shudder, more a sigh than a jolt, rippled through the Voyager. Outside the viewport, an emerald blur resolved into an impossibly dense canopy. Eva, strapped into the command chair, felt the deep thrum of the landing thrusters fade, replaced by an unfamiliar silence punctuated by the distant calls of unseen creatures. "Touchdown confirmed," she announced, her voice steady despite the tremor of anticipation in her chest. "Gravity nominal, atmosphere breathable. Let's see what this green world has to offer." The airlock hissed open, releasing a wave of warm, humid air, thick with the scent of damp earth and blooming flora. Giant trees, their bark a mosaic of greens and browns, towered overhead, their uppermost branches lost in a perpetual mist. Sunlight filtered down in fractured emerald shafts, illuminating colossal ferns and iridescent mosses. Eva, her pulse quickening, stepped onto the spongy ground. Her team fanning out behind her, their handheld tools at the ready, but held low. The silence was profound, broken only by the chirps and rustles of an alien ecosystem. They pressed deeper into the colossal forest, Eva's gaze sweeping over the vibrant landscape. Every plant seemed to pulse with life, a testament to an untouched vitality. Then, a splash of color caught her eye. Not organic, but crafted. Hidden amongst the roots of a monstrous banyan, a small, circular opening led into what appeared to be a natural cavern. Caution etched on her face, Eva signaled for silence. As they approached, soft murmurs drifted from within. She peered around a curtain of hanging vines and stopped, breath catching in her throat. Before them lay a village, not built on the ground, but within the hollowed-out trunks of several ancient trees, interconnected by woven bridges and platforms. Children, their skin a warm, earthy brown, their eyes large and curious, looked up from a game with glowing pebbles. They didn't scatter. Instead, a small girl, no older than 5, approached, her hand outstretched. Her fingers were delicate, tipped with tiny, luminous specks. An adult, tall and slender with intricate leaf-patterned tattoos, emerged from one of the tree dwellings, a gentle smile gracing their lips. No fear, only an open, welcoming curiosity. Eva lowered her handheld tool completely, a sense of profound wonder washing over her. "Hello," she said softly, her voice echoing slightly in the immense space. "We come in peace." The air within the council chamber hummed with a quiet energy, the warmth from the glowing flora casting long, dancing shadows. Elder Ilara, her silver hair braided with iridescent beads, rose from her cushioned seat, a gentle smile gracing her lips. Captain Eva Rostova. Her voice was soft, like the rustle of leaves. "It is an honor to finally meet you." Eva, ever the disciplined officer, offered a respectful bow, her gaze sweeping over the intricate carvings adorning the walls. "The honor is mine, Elder Ilara. Your world is breathtaking." Ilara gestured to an empty seat opposite her. "Please, make yourself comfortable. We have much to discuss, much to remember." Her eyes, deep pools of ancient wisdom, met Eva's. "You speak of the stars, Captain, of journeys between worlds. It is a knowledge our people, the Emberfolk, once possessed, though now it lives only in the faintest echoes of our oldest tales." Eva leaned forward, intrigued. "Tales of space travel?" "And more," Ilara affirmed, a wistful note entering her voice. "Tales of a distant origin, a world our ancestors called the Blue Marble, a vibrant sphere, teeming with life, where oceans met sprawling continents, and skies were often painted with clouds." She paused, her gaze distant, as if seeing that forgotten world. "They speak of courage, of a great exodus when their home faced an existential threat. They left, journeyed through the void, seeking a new dawn." A jolt went through Eva, a blue marble. It couldn't be a coincidence. "Earth," she whispered, a sudden profound connection forming in her mind. Ilara's eyes sharpened, a flicker of surprise within them. "You know this name?" "It is our ancestral home too, Elder, the cradle of humanity." Eva's voice was laced with a growing excitement. "Our histories align. Your ancestors were not merely refugees, they were pioneers, explorers." A sad smile touched Ilara's lips. "Perhaps, but over generations the journey became merely a story, the technology forgotten. We adapted to this world, embracing its rhythms, its light. The stars became distant lights, not destinations. We remember the bravery, the resilience of those who dared to leave, but the how was lost to time and necessity." Her gaze softened. "Yet the spirit of courage, that enduring spark, remains within us, Captain. It is our truest inheritance." The air within the cavern, usually filled with the gentle hum of crystal growth, now carried an electric buzz of anticipation. Captain Eva Rostova, standing before Elder Ilara and a gathering of Emberfolk, took a deep breath. "Our Federation," she began, her voice echoing slightly off the glittering walls, "is a tapestry woven from countless worlds, planets of ice, planets of fire, gas giants with floating cities, and even some that exist within the hearts of ancient stars." She described the varied species, their unique contributions, the shared pursuit of knowledge and peace that bound them. She spoke of starships traversing light years in mere blinks, of diplomatic councils, and the sheer, breathtaking scale of it all. Ilara listened, her eyes wide with a quiet wonder, occasionally murmuring soft words in Ember, which a young translator relayed as impossible, beautiful, so many stars. Later, beneath the soft glow of bioluminescent fungi, the Emberfolk demonstrated their sustenance. They led the Voyager crew through a series of terraced gardens, carved into the cavern walls, each glowing with an inner light. "We grow with songs," Ilara explained, a small, knowing smile on her lips. One elder, with gnarled, strong hands, knelt beside a patch of vibrant, root-like vegetables. He began to hum, a deep, resonant tone that vibrated through the earth. As he hummed, the soil around the roots seemed to shimmer, and the vegetables visibly plumped, their colors deepening. The Voyager's botanist, Dr. Aris Thorne, knelt, a magnifying glass pressed to his eye, muttering about accelerated nutrient uptake and resonant frequency. Eva watched, a sense of profound admiration blossoming in her chest. This was beyond anything the Federation knew. As the sons of Ember's core began their descent, painting the cavern ceiling in hues of orange and violet, the Emberfolk shared their evening songs. These weren't the quiet chants of the gardens, but joyful, rhythmic melodies that pulsed with life. Their voices, rich and harmonious, filled the vast space, accompanied by the gentle clatter of crystal chimes and the thrumming of hollowed-out gourds. Children danced, their tiny bodies swaying in unison, while even the usually stoic security chief, Jax, found himself tapping his foot. Eva caught Ilara's eye, and the elder offered a warm, genuine smile. Laughter, pure and unburdened, rippled through the gathered Federation crew. In that moment, the vast distance between their worlds felt insignificant, bridged by the universal language of shared joy. The bridge of the Voyager hummed with a different kind of energy, a nervous anticipation replacing the usual operational rhythm. Captain Rostova watched the data stream, a complex array of anthropological observations, geological surveys, and bioscans, all packaged for transmission. "Status report, Commander Talar?" she asked, her voice steady despite the tremor in her own hand. "Transmission nearly complete, Captain," the Vulcan replied, his fingers flying across the console. "Federation High Command will have our full report on the Emberfolk within moments." Eva nodded, a knot tightening in her stomach. This wasn't just another discovery. It was a seismic shift, the return of lost humanity, thriving on a forgotten world. The implications were staggering. Across the vastness of space, in the opulent yet stern chambers of the Galactic Federation Council, a holographic projection of Rostova's report flickered to life. Cheers erupted from a few of the more progressive delegations, the Xylosians, known for their boundless optimism, and the scholarly Viridians. "An incredible find," chirped a Xylosian representative, their multifaceted eyes gleaming. "Lost cousins returned to the fold." But not all shared their enthusiasm. The stern-faced Grolak leader Kraug, a creature of craggy hide and piercing crimson eyes, shifted uncomfortably in his seat. His powerful claws drummed a slow, rhythmic beat on the armrest of his ornate chair. "More humans," he rumbled, his voice a low growl that carried over the excited chatter. Another unpredictable variable in an already delicate balance. A young Viridian diplomat, ever eager to embrace new knowledge, turned to Crag. Leader, surely this is a cause for celebration? A testament to resilience? A new alliance for the Federation? Crag snorted, a plume of acrid smoke escaping his nostrils. Resilience or a new source of conflict? Humans are volatile. We barely integrated the first batch of you into our galactic order. Now you tell me there are more, entirely separate, living on the fringes? What new ambitions will they harbor? What new demands will they make? His gaze, usually fixed on the political machinations of the core worlds, seemed to bore right through the holographic data, as if he could see the Emberfolk themselves. I say we proceed with extreme caution. This Emberfolk could be a threat, not a boon. Eva, observing the Council's reactions live from the Voyager, felt a familiar surge of defiance. Crag's skepticism was predictable, but no less infuriating. She'd seen the Emberfolk, witnessed their peaceful existence. They deserved understanding, not suspicion. The road ahead, she knew, would be far from smooth. The Federation Council Chamber, typically a bastion of measured tones and polite, if firm, debate, bristled with an unfamiliar tension. Crag, his broad shoulders filling the holographic projection from the Grolak homeworld, punctuated his pronouncements with a series of sharp, guttural clicks that echoed in the hallowed space. Humans, he rumbled, his voice like grinding stone, are a chaotic element. Their history is fraught with conflict, their nature impulsive. To introduce the Emberfolk, a people so delicate to such an influence, is to invite disaster. They belong within their nebula, untouched. He fixed a glare, or what passed for one in holographic form, on the assembled delegates, then on Eva. Eva Rostova, standing at the central podium, felt the heat of his gaze. Her hands, usually restless, remained clasped behind her back, a visible effort to project calm. Leader Crag, she began, her voice steady despite the tremor of indignation deep within her. I understand your caution, but your assessment of the Emberfolk is incomplete, and your judgment of humanity, I believe, is based on outdated information. The murmurs that followed were a mix of agreement and disbelief. Outdated, Crag scoffed, a deep rumble resonating through the chamber. Their very existence on the edge of the galaxy, rediscovered only by chance, speaks of their isolation for centuries. What progress could they have made? Progress isn't always measured in weaponry or interstellar fleets, Leader Crag, Eva countered, her voice gaining strength, a spark igniting in her eyes. The Emberfolk are a people of profound empathy and unparalleled wisdom. I've seen it firsthand. They live in harmony with their environment, their society built on mutual respect and understanding. Their kindness isn't a weakness, it's their greatest strength. She paused, letting her words sink in. Imagine the impact their philosophy could have on the wider galaxy, their knowledge of sustainable living, their innate ability to resolve conflict through discourse rather than force, their gentle spirit. These are not traits to be shielded away, but to be embraced. To deny them a place among us, to deny us the benefit of their unique perspective, would be a loss far greater than any perceived risk. A hush fell over the chamber. Crag's holographic form seemed to waver, his usual stony expression momentarily softened by a flicker of something unreadable. Eva's passion had cut through the political rhetoric, laying bare a truth he hadn't considered. The Emberfolk, as she described them, weren't just a discovery. They were a potential beacon. The air within the Emberfolk's great hall hummed with a nervous energy, a palpable tension as representatives from a dozen Federation worlds awaited Elder Alara's pronouncement. Grolak leader Krau, arms crossed over his massive chest, shifted his weight, his tusks gleaming faintly in the crystalline light filtering from the ceiling. His deep-set eyes, usually narrowed in suspicion, were fixed on the wise elder. Our ancestors taught us that the greatest harvest is not of crops, but of kindness. Alara's voice, soft yet resonant, cut through the silence. The knowledge of our soil, the secrets of our sun lamps, these are gifts from the stars themselves. To hoard them would be to betray the very essence of life. A gentle smile touched her lips. We will share. We will teach. A collective gasp rippled through the assembled delegates, quickly followed by murmurs of surprise and gratitude. Crag, however, remained impassive, though a flicker of something akin to grudging respect crossed his features. Words are easily spoken, Elder, he rumbled, his voice a low growl. Actions forge trust. Alara's gaze met his, unwavering. Then observe, Leader Crag. Observe our actions. Within cycles, Emberfolk horticulturalists, guided by Ilara's directives, began transmitting their advanced agricultural schematics and biological nutrient formulae across the Federation network. Planets previously grappling with famines, their populations dwindling due to infertile soil or unpredictable solar flares, watched in awe as the Emberfolk's methods yielded astonishing results. On the arid plains of Xylos, once barren land pulsed with new growth, vibrant greens erupting from the parched earth. On the icebound moon of Kalin, subterranean farms, illuminated by Emberfolk-designed light arrays, began producing nutrient-rich staples at unprecedented rates. Federation agricultural committees, initially skeptical, sent teams to witness the transformations firsthand. They returned with reports of lush, thriving fields and robust, healthy populations, all flourishing under the guidance of Emberfolk protocols. The generosity wasn't just in the sharing of knowledge. Emberfolk engineers even helped calibrate existing planetary systems to optimize for the new techniques, demonstrating a practical, hands-on commitment that transcended mere data transmission. Many Federation members, observing these selfless acts, began to reevaluate their long-held prejudices against the Emberfolk. The savage primitives they had once dismissed were now seen as benefactors, their wisdom a beacon of hope in a galaxy often consumed by scarcity and conflict. Leader Krag, receiving reports from his own scouts on Xylos, found his customary scowl softening. The Emberfolk were proving their hearts were as rich as their soil. Krog watched, a knot of suspicion tightening in his gut as the Emberfolk moved through the desolate plains of Xylos. Not with weapons or boasts, but with an almost reverent quietude. They weren't conquering, they were cultivating. Small, shimmering drones, no bigger than Krag's fist, hummed above the parched earth, depositing tiny, iridescent seeds. Within moments, a delicate emerald fuzz spread, chasing away the dust and rock. Krag had expected a grand, aggressive display, a show of force to subjugate. Instead, he saw a patient, meticulous restoration. His Grolic warriors, restless and primed for conflict, shifted uneasily beside him. Their training had taught them to anticipate threats, to counter aggression with superior might. But how did one counter the gentle growth of a sapling? Krag grunted, his gaze fixed on an Emberfolk elder, her hands glowing faintly as she coaxed a stubborn sprout from the ground. There was no arrogance in her posture, only a focused determination. It was a strength Crow hadn't encountered before, not the roaring might of a charging Grolak, but the unyielding persistence of a river carving stone. Days bled into weeks. Krag observed the Emberfolk tend to the burgeoning forests, their strange energy fields accelerating growth without discernible effort. He saw them share their knowledge with the struggling Xylosians, teaching them how to harness the new flora for sustenance and shelter. There was no demand for tribute, no imposition of their will, just an offering of aid, freely given. One evening, by a crackling Emberfolk campfire, a contained, silent flame unlike the roaring Grolak blazes. Crag watched a small Xylosian child, once emaciated, laugh as an Emberfolk artisan fashioned a toy from newly grown wood. The child's unburdened joy was a stark contrast to the weary resignation Krog had witnessed on Xylos for centuries. A strange sensation, unfamiliar and unsettling, began to bloom in Krog's chest. It wasn't fear, nor anger. It was recognition. The Emberfolk were not predators, nor usurpers. They were architects of life, quiet weavers of prosperity. The thought, once unthinkable, settled in his mind. Perhaps, just perhaps, they were not a threat at all, but a gift he had been too blind to see. The grand concourse of the Galactic Federation shimmered with an unusual luminescence, reflecting the anticipation of thousands of delegates. Before the primary holographic projector, Captain Eva Rostova stood beside Elder Elara, the gentle hum of the assembly, a stark contrast to the quiet of Ember. On behalf of the Galactic Federation, Eva began, her voice resonating with a confident clarity that belied the monumental weight of the moment. It is my distinct honor to formally welcome the Emberfolk into our shared community of stars. A ripple of applause, surprisingly warm and sustained, swept through the chamber. Elder Elara stepped forward, her ancient eyes sweeping over the diverse faces, her presence radiating a serene strength. Our people have long gazed at the void, dreaming of connection, she spoke, her voice soft yet carrying. And now that dream is realized. We offer not just our presence, but the echoes of our past and the promise of a future forged together. Grolak leader Crag, his craggy features usually set in a perpetual scowl, watched from his species-designated observation deck. He grunted, a sound that might have been approval or merely indigestion. More mouths to feed, more opinions to wrangle, he muttered to his aide, though his gaze lingered on Elara with an uncharacteristic curiosity. He had been a vocal skeptic, wary of any new influence, yet the Emberfolk's ancient wisdom, particularly their insights into sustainable resource management, had begun to chip away at his rigid preconceptions. Their stories, woven with themes of balance and interconnectedness, offered perspectives the Federation, focused on technological advancement, had long overlooked. Later, in a quieter reception, Captain Rostova found Elara studying a map of the known galaxy. Your words today, Elder, they resonated deeply, Eva said. Elara smiled. Our oldest tales speak of the great weaving, how all life, all stars are strands in a single tapestry. We simply remind you of what you already know, deep within. As the days turned into weeks, the Emberfolk's contributions proved invaluable. Their unique understanding of bioluminescent energy matrices offered solutions to the Federation's long-standing power crises, and their philosophy of harmonious coexistence began to subtly shift diplomatic conversations. The old stories, once dismissed as quaint folklore, were now studied, debated, and integrated into Federation policy discussions. Finally, the day arrived for the Voyager's return to Earth. The vessel, no longer just a scout ship, felt like a living archive, carrying not only invaluable data, but the palpable essence of a newfound galactic unity. As the Voyager broke atmosphere, a surge of pride and profound hope washed over Eva. She hadn't just discovered a lost colony. She had, with the Emberfolk's quiet guidance, helped illuminate a new dawn for the entire galaxy. The stars, once a vast, indifferent expanse, now felt like a shared home, brimming with fresh understanding.